This afternoon, commercial banks are making a last-minute appeal for the tax on electronic transaction to be reduced marginally to not more than a percentage. Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta is set to lay the proposed levy at the 1.5% rate in Parliament this week, despite ongoing consultations. But speaking on PM Express, the business edition, the chief executive of the Ghana Association of Bankers, John Ewa, maintains that the current rate could erode some gains in the financial sector.
Significant concerns. Do I subscribe to any attempt to rope in the informal sector into our tax bracket? Yes. The mason must be made to pay taxes. The carpenter should be paying taxes. And if they are found in the informal sector and Momo is the way we can get them, I agree that we should find a way of getting their due to the national development. The issue is, at what rate do you want to bring this into action? And we've made this point from day one, that one of the critical success factors for any policy initiative is the entry framework. How you enter in your policy delivery is very important, and the price is a critical component of the whatever framework that we are using to enter into a new tax handle. So we think, as an association, we think the 1.75
is too high.
Is high. We believe that anything around 1% or below will be a good entry point. I mean, the budget belongs to the economy.
Yeah.
We are going to have even a mid-year
budget. Yeah.
If by that time we see that the response has not been as negative as people have been forecasting, we can take a decision and say, okay, now it's 1.25 or whatever it is, so that we can do a little bit of a wait and see. The other issue we have, and which the minister, by the way, has promised and has told us that is not going to be in scope, at least to start with, is the person-to-person transfer, though it remains...
Help me break it down. What do you mean by the person-to-person
transfer? Person-to-person transfer is John Ewa transferring money from, say, EcoBank to George Wiafe in EcoBank or in Standard Chartered or in any other bank, Access, Zenith, UBA, UMB, if from an individual to another individual. The draft bill that went to Parliament said that level of transfer will be in scope. We've engaged the minister and his team just this past Monday, and we had full assurance that, to start with, the points we have raised, kind of makes a lot of valid points to them, and to that extent, the person-to-person transfers in the banking system will not be in scope.
The Insurance Brokers Association of Ghana is making a strong case for government to reconsider the passage of the compulsory group life insurance policy. The policy, which was excluded from the new insurance bill prior to its passage, sought to mandate employers to take insurance cover for the employees, a move expected to cushion employees in the likelihood of unpredictable circumstances at the workplace. Speaking at the 10th Insurance Brokers Association of Ghana investiture organized here in Accra, the newly sworn-in president said the passage of the mandatory insurance products could go a long way to boost the sector's contribution to the economy.
We remember with regret how the compulsory group life insurance policy got removed from the new Insurance Law Act 1061 in the last minute. How and when this happened, no one knows. The effect of this bad decision does not only affect the penetration we seek, but has denied Ghanaians a very great opportunity at alleviating poverty by ensuring that the death and critical illness of the average Ghanaian worker does not end the hope of the family that feeds on him. We missed this opportunity probably because we didn't have a strong lobbying body to drum home this social effect of the group life policy. Our neighbors, Nigeria, have been practicing this for about a decade now, and both industry and the clients have benefited positively from it. Let me seize this opportunity to appeal to the Minister of Finance through his representative here to take a second look at this group life issue and, if possible, get an early amendment of the Insurance Act to include that. We at IBAC have an existing lobbying body, which we shall keep. However, we are ready to be part of a joint lobbying body with the GIA and the CIG, which will be adequately resourced to further the interests of the industry.
of Insurance, Dr. Justice Yalfori, has charged insurance brokers to champion the introduction of tailored insurance policies to meet the demand of customers.
In most developed worlds, they control the market because they design products. They know the needs of the consumer and they help the underwriters design products. So I would ask that it becomes one of your goals, making sure we sell products that are needed or products that the people want, not what we design and then force it on them. Ethics, very important. You can't be a good broker without good ethics, very strong ethics. So be ethical in your dealings as brokers. For we at the National Insurance Commission will continue to give you the support needed. So you can call on us anytime you need our assistance. As Pat Boham, rep to the Minister of Finance, said, we should look at increasing insurance penetration. And to do so, the role of the broker cannot be taken out. We'll continue to create a level playing field for this industry so that everyone is treated fairly.
You're still watching The Marketplace. Ghana and the rest of the world will wind up celebrations on the Data Protection Week with a call on stakeholders to ramp up synergies to create a more safe and viable cyberspace. The celebration is aimed at raising awareness about the importance of respecting privacy, safeguarding data, and enabling trust. We know that this is based on some 8 principles guiding the rules and regulations of data protection. Well, helping us understand and discuss matters of transparency in Ghana when it comes to data and its implication on social media is international social impact consultant and executive director of the Voice for Peace, Brianna Cook. Brianna, welcome to the program. How is Ghana faring on the matter of data transparency?
So our agency, the Voices for Peace, an NGO in Ghana, we conducted research and we're continuing to have conversations around, well, the democratic elections, peace, justice, strong institutions in Ghana. And we're starting to see larger social platforms such as Twitter, a lot of use on such platforms. So how can we continue to have more of these conversations implicating peace, social justice around such large media platforms that can ultimately go in any direction? So encouraging more citizen engagement and also ensuring that the right protocols and data implications are in place, using such systems for social good and an ethical purpose, and making sure that the public is also educated in such tools and the implication behind the data that's being shared on such platforms.
Well, we're currently seeing a massive a shift from the natural way of doing business to online way of doing business, and with this comes the need to get informed about the data analysis to aid businesses guide themselves through the nuances of social media. How safe and viable is this for businesses in Ghana as we speak, from your point of view?
Yes, so on Twitter, anyone can really use social advertising or promoting a hashtag for their benefit. So it might not necessarily have a larger implication, maybe just for business gains and profit. But Twitter can actually be used to promote, reputable hashtags for social justice and social good. So that's kind of what we want to advocate for and make sure a better usage of platforms, data, and just social networks in general.
Brianna, we're grateful that you could join us, especially when we are closing, down on the Data Protection Week. We're grateful for your submission. Brianna Cook is with the Voices of Peace. Away from that, in ensuring that learning how to code becomes more easier, fun, and accessible to African youth, SwahCode AI has launched its particular app called SwahCode, a smartphone-based coding app. Now, in 2021, George Boateng and co-founder Victor Kumbo improved on the idea and launched the startup to transform SwahCode into a smart smartphone application with the aim of teaching millions across Africa to code using their smartphones. So join us via Zoom. I want to start with, any of you. Tell us about how coding actually is changing the world of work in the 21st century.
So currently, a lot of technologies are digital, right? And so with coding skills, a lot of people can get jobs and be able to contribute to these technologies all over the world. So that's one good example of how coding skills is really enabling people in this 21st century.
Share with us what informed your venture into, Swag Code.
So we used to run a summer program in Ghana every year. And in 2017, when the laptops that we used to teach students were broken down, we needed a way to teach people how to code. And we wanted to, borrow or rent some laptops for that purpose. But it was just going to be too expensive. So we noticed from our pre-survey that over 25% of our students had laptops. Yet 100% had smartphones. And so that led us to modify our coding course and introduce it using only smartphones. And that went pretty well. So students learned to code on their phones. They built a Pong game. They were coding in traffic. And so we're like, wow, this is way too cool to remain as part of this in-person program. So we basically took it out and decided to deliver it as an online course. And so that we could reach millions of Africans. And so that's what we did. And then it went pretty well. And 2 years later, we decided to create this app so that we can scale and reach a lot more people.
Impressive. You're built for a pitching competition. Tell us more about that, especially when you have a capital on the line close to $1 million.
Yes, we're really excited about that. So Swag Code has been selected to the semifinals of the GSV Cup, which is the largest pitch competition for EdTech startups in the world, and out of a pool of over 750 companies. So that's really exciting for us. And we plan to, we are in the running, hopefully up to 1 million in cash and prizes. And we plan on using the funding to boost the rest of the work we are doing. So there's several things that we have in the pipeline, like Kwame, which is an AI teaching assistant to help in online courses, because there's a growing demand for online education. And one of the things that we realized is offering the scalable question answering is a problem in some of these platforms. And so these are some of the technologies that we have been working on. And so being recognized for this competition is really exciting for us, and the opportunity to pitch for this money that we can use to do our work.
And we wish you all the best in your endeavors, and we shall keep a close eye on how it goes with your coding endeavors. Gentlemen, thanks very much for having, me have this interaction with you. But let's move to other, development stories. Poultry farmers say they are yet to receive compensation months after the culling of birds due to bird flu. Government has released 44 million cedis to the Ministry of Food and Agriculture as part of an emergency budget support for the implementation of an action plan to combat bird flu in the country. Some 14 million cedis out of the amount has been allocated to compensate poultry farmers. However, the poultry farmers say they are not being paid. They've not been paid despite the release of these funds. We have President of the Ghana National Association of Poultry Farmers, Victor Opon-Ejay, as well as member of the Greater Accra Poultry Farmers Association, Michael Nyako Ampem, join us for a discussion on this situation. Mr. Opon-Ejay, kindly help us understand what is going on. Have you received any compensation as of now? Clarify for us. Kindly unmute so we can hear you proper, Mr. Opon-Ejay. I'm afraid we're trying to reconnect, but Michael, if you could hear me, we want clarity on whether or not poultry farmers have received compensation following the culling of their birds.
Thank you. Poultry farmers haven't received any compensation yet, except to say that government has released funds to the veterinary services to be disbursed, but there are rules and regulations when it comes to spending government money, and that is what is delaying the disbursement for the information that I have, that's what is delaying the disbursement of the funds.
But have you engaged authorities at the Ministry of Agriculture? And if so, how soon do you expect payments to be made?
It has to do more with the lines of expenditure. So I believe that all things being equal, next month, which is February, if the assurances that we've gotten are anything to go by, next month they should start the disbursement.
Of course, we do know that, the turn of events last year was quite unfortunate. It really dipped your profit margins. And now you're entering into the new year. I mean, you've already entered into the new year with this, frustrating news. How can this project your profit margins for the year? Is it going to make you guys start on a good note, or you're going to be jerky when it comes to your competitiveness?
For farmers who were affected, certainly it will affect them because the capacity to restock will be affected. And then for those who are already in the system who are not too sure of the climate, may also not want to expand because they are thinking that assuming they have any disease on their farm, which is bird flu, the compensation may take so long in coming, and so they may not want to risk their investment. So it's a bit dicey, but for those who are already in it, what they are fighting for is ensuring that the playing field is leveled for everybody to be able to do their business.
Great. Let's try Mr. Poultry once again. We know that the Agric Minister said that the bird flu is interfering with government fearing for food and jobs. Do you think Ghana can recover from this particular situation and be indeed self-sufficient in meat production by 2025? Well, I think...
Is it to me?
Yeah, Michael, go ahead. We're having challenges with Mr. Opon, but please go ahead, help us appreciate whether or not the situation we're having at the various poultry farms could indeed erode gains made by government to be self-sufficient when it comes to meat production by 2025.
Indeed, we must be frank. If there's no intervention, farmers will not want to put into so much money in terms of investment. So achieving the target of the curtailing importation will be difficult because people will expect that the policy, the broiler revitalization program that government wanted to roll out will come into fruition. It hasn't come yet. We are still hoping that it was stated in the budget. So we are hoping that in the year 2022, it will be rolled out. And if that is done, then we know that in the next 2 years, we should be able to achieve that.
We're grateful, Michael, that you could join us. He's with the Greater Accra Poultry Farmers Association, helping us appreciate situations, really, having them at a stake when it comes to Ghana's poultry industry. You're still watching The Marketplace. We're going for a short break. Do stay with us. Now, an Indian firm, Spring Agro Industries, has capped salt for the construction of a food processing factory in the central Tong district of the Volta region. The factory, which will put the district on the path of becoming an industrial hub, will create jobs and raise the district's economic values. The initiative, which was facilitated by the District Assembly, falls under the Akufo-Addo-led government's One District, One Factory initiative. Here's more.
The Taviope Senior High School, established in 1983, was absorbed into the public system in 1989. A major challenge of the school has been the lack of dormitory facility for the girls. Rose Menu is the headmistress.
Our border girls' population stood at 415, with only one dormitory block, which contains 6 rooms. This was able to accommodate just about half of the number. 3 classrooms were converted to girls' dormitories to curb the situation, but that too could not solve the problem completely. When all the 3-year groups were in school, some of the girls had to be shared among the headmistress, the 2 house mistresses' bungalows for sleeping places.
Realizing the impediment of the situation on academic activities, traditional authorities initiated a campaign to outwit the challenge. Through the instrumentality of Ghana's ambassador to Germany and daughter of the soil, Gina Blay, the Ghana National Petroleum Corporation Foundation has cut sod for the construction of a 160-bed capacity dormitory block and a 20-seater sanitary facility. The executive director of the foundation, Dr. Dominic Kwesi Edua, said the project adds up to the over 20 already ongoing in the Volta region.
Under the same unit, we also look at educational infrastructure. And I think that's exactly what has brought us here, where we are ensuring that we give a lot of support to secondary schools and other basic schools as well in terms of infrastructure. And Volta region, as it used to be, wasn't left out. After the building is completed, there is a maintenance mechanism that the foundation has adopted. Other places where we've completed these projects, yes, the project was actually funded by GMPC Foundation, but we also ensure that we name it after an individual who will be maintaining the building annually. And that's a maintenance strategy that we have adopted. Right here, I cornered Her Excellency, and I told her, Madam, you have no choice. This building is going to be named after you. Yes, sir. So that it's going to be named after you so that every year you see to the maintenance of the building.
The paramount chief of Taviope, Togbe Tenku Kojo Ziga III, appreciated the commitment by the GNPC Foundation to help eradicate the accommodation challenge.
I wish to also express our highest appreciation to the national chairman of the MPP, Honorable Freddie Blay, and the wife, Mrs. Gina Blay, for the patience they have to my numerous delegations to them and mostly at all times.
The school's management, however, appealed for the construction of a fence wall around the school and an official vehicle. Fred Kwame Asari, JoyNews, Taviope.
Well, we do have good news and bad news for you on My Joy Online, the business segment when it comes to the stories making headlines in the world of business. The good news is that Ghana earned $7.33 billion, US dollars from oil production since 2011. You might want to check out on that one in the details on My Joy Online. Well, the bad news, though, is that non-performing loans, a major risk to the banking sector. That's according to the Bankers Association. You could also check that one out on myjoyonline.com. That's it for the marketplace. I'm Charles Ayete. For more news, that's where you have to go. We're grateful that you could join us. Many thanks for watching.